All right, all right. Is it on? Is it on? Hello there. Hello. Yes, today I decided not to be on camera. But anyway, this is Peyton 3.0 for those of you who did not know. The EDM and drum step vocalist Zombie Supreme. Okay? But today we are not talking about the EDM world community. Shout out to all my hardcore Zomatrons and Peytonators. That's my interchangeable name for them. Today, this series is about the truth, about subjects that most people, everyday average people like yourself, most likely, are not hearing. You're not getting the truth. You're not getting it broken down. A lot of times it's sugar-coated, or you're just not getting the answers that you need, and you're basically spinning your wheels in life. Well, this series is the knowledge that I have to give to you, because I was in the same spiral until I finally got the knowledge I needed that changed a lot of things for me and how my mindset was and how my life went. You know, there may be a lot of us out there that are a lot softer, shyer or timid by nature. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. But in this world that we find ourselves in, being kind of naive comes at a high cost. Being gullible comes at a very high cost. And you want to be able to not be so weak-minded and be mindful of your environment and who you're around when you're in certain environments. And that brings me to today's subject, which is to beware of your coworkers. Okay? Beware of your coworkers. You might be asking, what's this song in the background I'm hearing? If you're new, well, this is my song called Turn Up. Let the music hear you. If you think it's a turn up, if you think it's a bop, if that's the word being used, if you think it's the motherfucking jam, whatever the word being used at the time of this viewing, then you can go on my SoundCloud. We'll get to that at the end. But anyway, we're talking about being aware, beware of your coworkers. Be aware of your coworkers. And you might be saying, what do I mean by that? I want to know in the comment section right now, before I really get into it, how many of you have had disastrous situations where you befriended a coworker, and outside, when you started hanging out with them, just the most negative things have happened to you, and you regret it. You may have left the job just because of those experiences. I want to know down in the comment section, because it has happened to me a few times in my lifetime. And another recent thing happened to me, which just made me just completely like think twice. You see on the screen right here, 3 coworkers, you know, they're smiling. They're obviously from Target. I used to work at Target, for a couple years, so on and off. And, you know, you may come into work, you're the new person, you meet these people, they seem nice, and then you decide to befriend them. And then you start hanging out after work, but do you find that they're not exactly the same as they are when they're at the job? Because at the job, you have a certain role that you basically have to be forced to play, or else you can't work there. Because you have to represent the business. And people who decide not to put on this, how should I say it? This fake niceness. And some people generally mean it, they're generally nice, but put on this show that you have to keep up for 8 hours a freaking day. And if you're working full-time or over full-time, you have 2-3 jobs, because it's just the way the job market is, then you're forced to literally play this role all the time. And when you step out on line to be real, because your emotions and things are all over the place because your real life is kind of falling apart and you're just, it's one of those days, you get punished for that. You get punished by the customer. You get punished by the bosses, the manager, whatever. You know? You can't step out of line or else. And that's the game we play when working at these customer service jobs and on the front lines, unfortunately. It sucks, but it's the truth, right? So, I want to tell you an example of one of my situations recently that happened. I now live in Vegas, and I was working at P.F. Chang's. And, you know, I'm renting rooms for rent, right? Trying to save up without splurging on this crazy real estate market of anything, apartments, whatever, so that I can continue to fund my own business with my own money. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to basically, quote unquote, house hack, right? House hacking. There's several ways to house hack. One of them is renting a room for a way lower price than you would pay for rent. But that comes with its own horrors, depending on who you decide to rent from and who your roommates are. Okay? That comes with its own horrors, but that's another video that I may do after this video. But the people that what looks like on the surface, it's just not what it seems, right? And you truly won't know these people until you truly hang out with them. But you really won't know these people until you live with them. And that way you get the whole picture, the whole scope that you could not see just working at the job with these people. And so I was looking for another room to rent because the situation I had was changing to something I didn't like at the previous place I was at. So I put up a post, you know, blatantly up on Craigslist, you know, Facebook Marketplace, blah, blah, blah. There's not too many places for room for rents, even to this day, have a website that caters to that. You know, so there's really only the Craigslist, which comes with its own problems, obviously, still to this day. Facebook Marketplace, which is really not that much better. Facebook Marketplace is not really, in my opinion, that much better. But, so I went and I put a post up also on my job's messaging site, you know, putting the word out there that I'm looking for a room for rent. I'm willing to pay this much money, you know, just to all the coworkers, not the managers, whatever. Because I would never live with my boss. I would never do that, ever. And I got very few responses. But then I got a response, and one was from, I got two responses. One was from a girl who was in her own situation that wanted to rent an apartment right out. I was looking for a room. She started renting an apartment. I'm like, girl, that's a whole other can of worms. I'm not trying to go down. I'm just trying to rent a room, okay? Because renting an apartment that they come with two stipulations. I'm trying to avoid deposits. That's even hard enough with the room. I'm trying to avoid leases. I'm trying to only sign, if I gotta sign anything, a month to month, because if it don't work out, I ain't trying to be trapped with nobody I don't like. I need to be free to just go, just like a job. It's not a contract. It's an at-will employment. They could terminate the relationship. They could terminate the relationship with you, or you could terminate the relationship. You could terminate the relationship with them at any time. Okay. That's how that works. Unlike being signed to a contract, a slave contract, like at these music labels and stuff. No. So two responded. The one girl that responded, who was the server on the floor, and she was having trouble with, she didn't have a room for rent. She wanted to get an apartment together because her situation was the man she was living with was trying to hit on her and wanted to sleep with her, and she was just in that kind of trouble. And as much as I felt bad for her, the situation that I was looking for did not correspond to what she was offering. So I kind of told her I'd get back to her and whatnot, and you know, and all that. So although I got back to her, eventually told her I was gonna keep looking. Then I got a second inquiry, phone call from another coworker who I thought was just, he seemed to be a really cool guy. He had a job at both Bellagio as a server and a job at, you know, Pierre Chains where I was working on the strip, which are really, really cross the street from each other. You know what I'm saying? So little did I know, he calls and he's like, hey, I got a place, well, not, you know, rent a room, your own bathroom, all of that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I thought it was like an answer from the universe. So I end up going to check the place out. And my instincts, they're usually never wrong. When I roll in there, I saw like, it was an apartment complex, and I saw like just like the trash like just on the floor in front of the leasing office. And my brain went, ooh, I don't know, we should be here. This something right. Is this a ghetto place? Is this one of those low vibrational places? But then I ignored it because it was my coworker. He was nice. You know, he's at PF Chains working. It's a fancy place. He's at Bellagio, whatever. That don't mean shit at all. Because all you're doing is putting on airs in the show. But behind the scenes, things could be a lot more uglier, and they certainly were. So I went to meet with him, and you know, I go up in the place, and there's a picture when you open the door of a naked girl. I mean, I know it's college dorms, UNLV's right there, whatever. I didn't mind the picture. I was like, okay, obviously these are the college dudes. This is the college. I mean, well, actually, Steven, that's the funny part about him. He's the same age as me. He's not even in college. He's past his 30s. So, only I look better because I look better because I look like I'm still 19 years old to most people. So, I like that. And I got the energy of a 15-year-old. So, hello. How do I do that? You're to ask me in the comment section. But anyway. So, I get these vibes, and then like a roommate, which he did not explain. He had a roommate. I thought he was by himself. Comes out, and for some reason I get these vibes like, I don't know, like you didn't mention him. Did he know? And my brain is sending me these vibes, but I'm like, I gotta get out of the situation I'm in right now. It's my coworker. I'm probably just tripping. No, because they are plotting, and I said I'm gonna look for somewhere else. I was trying to look for other places, but nobody else was really serious. They, you know, people were just trying to sleep with me if I was to live with them, which is other men. You know, I am a gay man, trying to sleep with me or whatever. And I was just like, no, we're not doing the situation. We're not doing that. Okay. It just be really creepy and dangerous on these sites like Craigslist and all that, honey. People just be, Craigslist does not have a great reputation, but it's hard to look for room for rents if you don't already have like this network. And a lot of us out there, networks is not strong like that. You know, the only place you may have to go is possibly our coworkers or our job place, and that's not really the best place to be looking for personal things like that affects everything. You know, a place to live, a place to work. You would think they go hand in hand, but in this country like America, not sure how it is in your country, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's completely separate, even though they both affect each other greatly. And so, you know, I get in there, my instinct, and I'm talking to this guy on the phone because he's the guy, he's the actual guy in the apartment. I'm just waiting for him. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm a person that's going to dig. I'm a person that's going to ask questions. I'm going to ask questions to the T. My instinct was telling me that to not go. Something was just didn't seem right, but I went anyway because I was just like, I gotta get out of here. The situation I'm in, and it's my coworker, and I'm sure he wouldn't steer me wrong. He's still like a cool guy, you know, sir. At these two places, he stand up. Come to find out, number one, I'm not even supposed to be there. Number two, the leasing office, they didn't want me to. It was suspicious because when I started to move in there, I asked for like the gate code, and they said, "No, don't worry about that. Just, you know, just park away for somebody to come through." And so my brain went off again. My brain was going off several times that something isn't right. But I ignore my instincts. I usually never ignore my instincts, especially not now. I usually don't ignore my instincts. But for some reason, I ignored my instincts. Okay? Again. And so we went through. I went up there. I started moving my stuff in. Whatever. And I'm like, when am I going to get this gate key for me to at least walk through the gate? Because I usually walk and take the buses or whatever. And so it never came that I got a gate key. I came to find out later that the leasing office doesn't even know that I'm there, and they're not supposed to have anybody there. This whole place is getting turned into luxury apartments. Everybody here is getting out in August of next year, whatever, which will be this year. But come to think of it, it's July right now. I wonder what's happening to both of them because, honey, August is coming up. What they gonna do? I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. I don't want to see them. So, come to find out, that the coworker had a drinking problem. Didn't know that because he was so functional. You didn't think he would be drinking all day long, all night long, be out all night long, but still be able to hold down 2 jobs. Just drinking, non-responsive. The house, when I walked into the apartment, was dirty as hell. Just dirty as hell. Nobody would clean. Nobody was cleaning up. And they had a third roommate that was an old guy. I mean, this man was old. He looked like he was at least in his 70s, 60 something. He was looking old. He was old and crusty. They was talking about they trying to get him out. All sorts of things were happening in that place, but so I would attempt to go ahead and clean it up, and I would clean it up one day, and it would be messy. And then, like, the coworker of mine, which shall not be named, would come home late at night and would be throwing up in the sink and leave it there, go to bed. And this would be happening like literally every night. He would be drunk all day, go to work, still drunk, both jobs, functional drunk, alcoholic to the T. And it came to a situation when one day they were like, be careful about getting your mail here. Be careful about this. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to focus on my business as well as working in the 9-to-5 job. Just put all the packages in my name. They get suspicious. And so I didn't know what to do because it was like I'm in a tight situation. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to look for another place to go again. Come to find out, and yes, I was paying them rent, but the rent was not going to the leasing office. If I wanted to talk to the leasing office, I couldn't because I was told later on that I was in stowaway. And then the coworker said I had nothing to do with it because this is all my roommate's thing. And I'm like, you do have something to do with it. You probably invited me into the situation just to shut the ball on me later. And then it was revealed to me that when he was drunk, he said to me, I don't really care as long as you got the money. I don't really care as long as you pay that money. You don't care nothing else but the money. And there's a lot of people out here, y'all, that you go to rent from or whatever or whatnot, that are people who are not even like realtor or landlords, just people of like houses and things and shady situations that you got to watch out for, that will just don't care about you. They just want to take your money, whatever. You know, despite, even if they could not even like you. And because they're low life vibrational assholes, they're just gonna think about, okay, I can't stand this person, but you know what? At least I got this going on, that going on, and I just there's money coming in that I don't have to work for, so I'm gonna just put up with it. And you have those low vibrational people all around. That includes your coworkers. And so one day the leasing office gets wind, and they just knew that I was living there, and they sent a notice on the door. I started walking outside to go get the mail. There's a notice on the door, and the notice said, if the person that you have in there does not leave within 24 hours, all of y'all are getting kicked out. And so the drunk ass were sort of panicking. The other one started panicking. And the coworker, who was disrespectful as hell, was like, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here now, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, where am I supposed to go? I don't know, but you got to go somewhere today. You can't stay, blah, blah, blah. They were panicking as hell. They said, they're going to come check this unit. You can't be here. We could probably try to hide your stuff. It's like, but it was like, no, you got to go. He was panicking. He showed no concern for me. He showed nothing. The actual roommate shown something for me. The roommate that I stupidly let have money, because the roommate himself was in some cockamamie trouble where he was on probation with the police for assaulting an officer, I found out. And I was making deals with him on rent and stuff. If I helped him out, stupidly gave him a nice portion of my money in exchange for a deal that I thought was good, just for the whole thing to blow up in my face. And I ended up back at the place that I was running away from, because I had nobody else to call, but because the person who was in charge of this place said, I'm always welcome back if I want to come back. You know, because I want to be kicked out. It's just, there was things that he was doing that I was annoyed by, like bringing other people into the house. That wasn't the deal. That wasn't whatever, his family, whatever. That wasn't the deal. Whatever. It was just became frustrating for me. Especially for the fact that I could not communicate with these people because they only spoke Spanish. Right? So, you know, I was just like, this is not what I came here for. I came here so I could focus. Because my situation before that was a toxic roommate situation where I was being basically told I had to go. Despite the fact that I wasn't even a troublemaker. But when you have a man, see, that's the thing about getting into situations where you're renting rooms from somebody who is girlfriend or boyfriend, where there's heterosexuals, first of all. Even when it's gay people in a relationship and you're renting from them, things can go awry and you're going to be the one that takes a fall and gets kicked out because they are together and involved and in love, whatever, or married. And if the wife don't like you for whatever reason or whatever or whatnot, it don't matter what relationship you have with the man or whatever. It don't matter what relationship you have with the man. He's going to eventually have to kick you out because the wife is not happy with you for whatever reason she doesn't like. Doesn't matter if it's actually, how should I say, warranted or not. So the point is that whole story was to tell you, especially if you're like really, really young, like you're in your 18, 20s, you may be gullible as hell. Not all. Young, fresh. You want friends. You want to make friends. You want to be accepted, honey. That can lead you to a rough rabbit hole that can literally destroy your life. So all this to say is that you have to be aware of who you're working with, and not just those situations. Beware of their energy. If you're also trying to go somewhere higher and elevate your mind, a lot of co-workers around you are not going to be in that space. They're going to be on the average tip. They're going to be trying to gossip, and they're just average. When you're on a higher conscious level, but because you're trapped in the system like America and capitalism, and you have to work in those jobs, those offices, those fast food places, even though you may have a degree, but somehow your degree is just not paying off. So you're trapped in the working cycle that you're trying to escape from. Whatever it is, you have to watch the co-workers around you, because they're just average people and they're low vibrational. Some are just very nice, whatever, whatnot, but they're passive as hell. And they're not going to help you grow either. You know, you want to be with people who are better than you, and it's hard to find that at most average job places, especially dealing with customer service of any kind. So just be aware of your coworkers. Just be aware that for the most part, coworkers are not your friends, and the only reason they're there, not to say that you can't make friends with a genuine coworker and it work out. You can, but the only reason that anybody's even at the job is because they have to be the slave to the system to make money, to pay bills, to eat, to survive. And today, most people are barely able to do that. They're trying to hold down 2-3 jobs with kids and all this other stuff. Single people are doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You just have to watch your coworkers. You have to mind your own mind when it comes to these other people. Even if you don't know who you are yet. It's harder then if you don't know who you are, but you know who you are, you're getting taken advantage of. You just gotta learn from your mistakes and watch. Watch your coworkers. Beware of your coworkers. Let me say this megaphone style. Beware of your coworkers, okay? Okay? Because some of them can really harm you, or you may have been trying to go to a higher level, and these people you're surrounded with, because like I said, your environment affects a lot. So you just got to be careful. Sometimes you can help the environment that you're in, so you got to work extra hard to elevate and put some kind of space between you and these other people. So anyway, my name is Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist Zombie Supreme. Thank you for staying to the end. For those who liked it, you really enjoyed what I had to say in my story, and I hope that this can help you think a lot more and to prevent and be aware of other people in your environment wherever you go. Okay, now I'm at the end of this. Please press the like button, share this with somebody else that you know this is going to help out to prevent these kind of things from happening to them. When you learn from other people's stories, you don't have to be a statistic yourself. You don't have to go through the pain yourself. When you actually learn from other people's stories, see, as poor people or average people, working class people, at the bottom, for those of us who are at the bottom or middle class, because really that's becoming one and the same these days, at least in America. I'm not sure about in other countries who are listening to this, but a lot of times, at least here in America, we're told that what is the saying? The saying is like time. You learn from your mistake. You learn from your own mistakes, or you learn as time goes on. Something. There's a saying. I forget what the saying is, but the saying is incorrect. You actually can learn and avoid situations by learning from other people's situations, so that you do not repeat the same patterns they do. That's how you learn quicker and get further. Okay, so we're going to go to this. Make sure you comment, like, share, hit the notification bell for more episodes. Watch more episodes at the end of this. It's going to pop up in the window. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and give you my socials. This is only for people who are into EDM. Okay, if you're not into EDM, which is electronic dance music like that, then this is not for you. But if you're into singing mainstream songs, radio hits of America, that is, for the most part, in the UK, then there's one social media for you, which is sessionslive.com. And that URL that you see there for sessionslive.com/Payton30662. Put that in your browser. You'll come across my profile. See, there I go live daily, and this is a platform for musicians only to do their thing live. You can request your favorite song. And of course, when you press the follow button, because the follow button is free, the subscribe button is not free. The follow button is free. It'll ask you to enter your email, then create a screen name and an avatar, and it will alert you by email when I go live. Then we can really get to know each other, have conversations, and it just be a really, really great time. So I want to thank you today for being here. My name is Payton 3.0, and I will see you on the next The Truth Is. Bye-bye now.